Hello, 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 and welcome to Making Comics and Art. Regardless of what it says, this is episode 326. This is what happens when I try to start and my cat wants to come in for 2 minutes, then wants to go out. So it goes. So I tweaked the camera position a little bit, so hopefully it won't be too bad. I'm going to start inking. How is everybody doing? So I made a funny title because there's no one right way to do comic inking. But I guess there is the Palmiotti way. So I'll just jump right in. I would have loved to start it earlier today, but I go to the post office, and that turned into running around a bit, then checking messages and talking with some people. So it goes. But I am here at last. And it's Thursday, so I don't think I'm going to get this and the other page done by tomorrow. No, that's okay. I know what I should do. Too many people dropping videos at once. Yes, I realize there's mucho competition right about now. Put the tunes on. Yeah, so, stick around if you want. I want to do a long session at some point. Actually, my brother's doing it live with some friends. What is it? 8 o'clock? So, I think I want to check that out. And this way I can make dinner. And watch his lunch. If you're not aware, he's doing him, Amanda, Billy Tucci, and Brian Polito. And Kickstarter starting tonight. I think it's on Brian's channel. I don't know, I just shared it out on Facebook. No, where's this one? Let's try this one. So if you didn't catch my video yesterday, these are, I'm approaching these pencils as sort of just breakdowns, and I'm doing ink finishes over them. So something me and the artist pretty much agreed on. We both wanted to do better work. This is our second book together. Would have been the second book. I'm just doing 4 pages because the artist passed away. But I'll be jumping into, this is issue 3, I'll be jumping into issue 4 with another artist. And I'll be co-penciling that and inking the whole book. But I got plenty of other work to do before then. So I'm just trying to get issue 3 in the bag, as they say. So I'm just trying to capture some of the basic line work. Every line you put down is like 100 decisions. And I know I want to take it further than what I see. So I'm not necessarily copying, or not necessarily going to copy everything I see. But I love the way Scott penciled this page in particular. It looks a little John Burnish. And I'm going to be flipping it around a lot So hopefully you don't get seasick. I wish I could put real tunes on. There is a way to download some tunes and add it to Don't worry, I'm still here. On an actual boat in 2002, I didn't get seasick. Not fully, just squeezy. Yeah, first for a second. Yeah, I'm not on the. I'm not directly plugged into internet. I'm only going to upgrade a bunch of things. It probably won't be until next year. So if I phase out at times, just because I'm being cheap right now. I refuse to pay top dollar at the moment. Yeah, the main thing for me right now is to get on top of my schedule. I got a commission to do. So beyond these 2 pages, commission to do. I got a graphic novel to work on. And I got to start working on Icebox, which I'll be penciling and inking. So there's a ton of work in that. But here you'll see me working on stuff essentially like a chair. You know, maybe when I run out of stuff I could share, I'll do some original art. Looks like we got a crowd of people. Don't be shy. Speak up. Is anybody else making art? A friend of mine tagged me in a post on Facebook. He found a issue of Aquaman I worked on, and I mentioned to him, and this goes for everybody, if you ever want me to sign something I worked on, all you have to do is mail it to me. That's right, Jay can't do all the talking. Yeah, mail it to me and I'll happily sign it, as long as you include return package and stamp. Signature is free, but I won't pay for your shipping. So I was mentioning, I mentioned John Byrne. I was on his website the other day, a couple days ago. I know he was penciling a X-Men story. I didn't see it there. I think maybe it was in the forum, some like the link to it. Oh, hold on. All right, I'll be right back. Sorry about that. My neighbor injured himself and wanted a band-aid. Say, go away. No, I gave him a band-aid. Couple of nicks. Nothing too bad as far as his wound. I told him you shouldn't play with my cat. No. Hello, Paul? Yep, who's Paul? I'm reading the chat, but I'm not putting every comment on. If you're wondering what I'm referring to. I love doing hair. To really get into it, though, you have to zone into it. I'm just laying down some initial lines. There's a whole process to like where to throw lines and whatnot. So if you're an artist and curious what I'm using, I'm using an ink called Black Star. Not my favorite. I really like Pelican, but the last batch of Pelican I got was a little watery. Well, a little more than a little watery. Oh, by the way, I asked Mark, the creator-writer of Designated. So Designated, I finished off the inks for issue 2. And he doesn't have a set date, but he's going to decide by November 27th, I believe he said it. So if we're going to crowdfund issue 2 this year, I'm assuming that's what he wants to do, since he pretty much pressured me into getting the pages done. But he still doesn't have a cover. There's going to be 2 covers. I think Brian Kong is the one that's going to get done first. Brian's an old pal from New York. He's a sports card artist. He's really good. Really good guy. Haven't seen him in years. I don't know how many cons outside of New York he does. Yes, I always used to run into him in New York. One thing I love doing is like I originally when I broke into comics, I inked some backgrounds for some inkers. My brother, Rodney Ramos, 1 or 2 others. I even worked with Joe Rubenstein once. All of them good inkers. And inking back, assisting inkers, you ink a lot of backgrounds. and I've done a lot of buildings and mechanical stuff. And I would do it by brush, because I've had, technical pens, and you use a triangle, you use this regular ruler, and you can knock that stuff out. But I always loved going in with a brush and doing the mechanical stuff. It was almost like, you got artists like Mobius, and all his stuff was, not all his stuff, but like a lot of his stuff, he did everything freehand. And there's a sort of charm to it. It may not be 100% accurate, where everything's perfectly straight and flush and ends connect, but there's a subtle charm to it, and you can tell. Obviously all this stuff gets shrunk down, so it's printed much smaller than it is, and sometimes you can't tell. So before I was interrupted before, Jay wrote, he was on an actual boat in 2002. I didn't get seasick, not fully, just queasy. That's when I got interrupted. I didn't know. I don't remember. I thought I went fishing once, but when I was in Florida last, and me and my brothers were just talking about our childhood and whatnot, as brothers do, he reminded me, since I completely blocked it out of my brain, that I went fishing with we had neighbors across the street from us that the family was close to, the Jurits, and apparently the father took me fishing, or at least took me out on a boat a whole bunch of times, which I blocked out. He is a bit of a gabber, and has a dad sense of humor. So it was pretty funny. Oh, hey, I totally missed your comment up there. Hey, Paul. Drawing and listening. Awesome. I'm working on a drawing that is 80 inches tall. 80 inches tall. Why the heck are you working on something that tall? And what's it for? I am very good. Been deep sea fishing twice this season. I was have been deep sea fish. On the other hand, yeah, well, I never went deep sea. I'm guessing, like, grew up in Brooklyn, there was Sheepshead Bay was pretty close to us, and there's boats there. Well, that's where people went to get fresh fish. But if you have a boat, go out into the water there or other places, I guess. Promotional, I assume? Side of an arcade game. Oh man, that's awesome. I grew up in the arcade. When I was working, me and my friend were working on Park Avenue, well, off Park. Well, it's technically Park Avenue, for a company. After work, payday, we'd go to Times Square. At that time, this was back in the 80s, way back in the 80s. There were 3 really large arcades. We spent so much money on games. Yeah, arcade was my childhood too. Yeah. I'm not too much of a gamer today, mostly because I don't have the time at the moment, but eventually I'll get something good. I play free stuff online every once in a while. But I need something juicy. Like I played Metal Gear Solid, I played Resident Evil, I played Final Fantasy. Tomb Raider. Something, I think it was called Eve. This is going back a ways. I love video games. I love totally getting into the story. If it's a quick video game, I was into driving games. For somebody who didn't have a license, I was into driving games a lot. Those are a blast. My best friend has, I'm a big fan of Tron, the movie, and he has the original stand-up arcade version in his house. I was never very good at it, but I love the game. It's kind of funny. I mean, I played so many games with so many friends. I was always the guy that I wasn't very good, but I got extremely lucky at times. Love the game, love the movie. Yeah, Ron, There's going to be a Tron 3, which I'm excited about. I thought the second one was good. You know, they picked the direction and went with it. I think the third one, it might be a little weird, considering that, you know, what they're going to do is sort of the opposite, like have the computer characters in the real world. Not, you know, if they do it right, it could work. But I love the original movie. Heard Jeff Bridges is going to be in this one as well. I think it's Tron Ares. So I don't think it's Tron 3. Ares. But that's way cool that you're working on artwork for a video game. Your art definitely. I could picture it, man. But 80 inches, man. Is that like the length of my desk? Maybe. Yeah, 2 is Legacy, 3 is Ares. It's I forget the actor's name. He was in Blade Runner and a million other things. I'm there for the graphics. I'm sure I'll have great graphics. At some point, I got to do some Tron banner pinups or something. Six and a half feet. Okay, 80 inches. Makes sense. Fun project. 80 inches is a nightmare. Yeah. I can imagine. Especially if it's one piece. I don't know if you can break it up into different sections. Because the way I do art, I spin the sucker constantly. That would be a problem with it, an 8-inch piece. Alright. Tunes is good, but these get all of them get repetitive because they're short. It's time for rock. That's right, I'm rocking out. And did you know, if you look my name up in the dictionary, Peter means rock. Bet you didn't know that. What's my go-to drawing music? Um, well, I mean, what I typically turn on is stuff I grew up with. So anything 80s era. uh, rock, electronic, weird stuff, independent, indie, REM, Clash, all the stuff from back then. Beatles, Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin. I mean, I was a big Billy Joe fan. Still am, you know. Petra means rock, so that makes sense. My mom called me Pietro every once in a while. It's the variation. And of course, when she was mad at me, she called me Peter Lewis Michael Palmiani. Get in here right now. That's my phone. Michael is my Catholic name. The name I chose. Lewis, my legal middle name. Now, this is not normally how I ink, per se. But I wanted to lay the foundation. So that's why I'm kind of just outlining and throwing in random lines. One could say we're a Billy Joe fan for the longest time. That's right. I remember Glass Houses was the first album I remember buying on CD. I never had a big collection. The problem was, I had three older brothers. Two of them were very much into music. So I listened, if I wasn't in my own room, listening to the radio, which is mostly what I had as a kid, my two oldest brothers were playing albums. So everything from Elton John to Parsons Project to Steve Winwood. So many cool. Boston, the band, Chicago, America, yes. It was a virtual cornucopia of music. So Paul, what do you listen to? We're similar background, I would gather. I could be 1,000% wrong. Hey London, what's up? Where you been, my dude? That's a Trent saying. The comic artist. Well, now he's a video game artist. Trent Nuga. Is that how you pronounce the name? My dudes. You always say that. Just put out a horror film short. Oh, awesome. I'll have to check that out when I get some time. I started out as only John, then my mom remarried and suddenly I had a stepsister 3 years older than me. That must have influenced what you listen to. Oh, I'm the youngest of 5. I think those of us with all the same ways get exposed to wider music. Yeah, most definitely. And pretty pedestrian. Pop music, R&B. Okay, R&B. And Jay says, my music, which mostly matches Peter's, came from my old man. All right. I can dig it. Yeah, I mean, you know, this is all the music that I came across, but that was like years later. A couple of favorites that I found were like The. I love The. Big Audio Dynamite. Fine Young Cannibals, that was from one of my brothers. Yeah, so much. Muse, the Pixie. I should really make a list one day. Since basically I listen to music now on the YouTube music app, and you can make a playlist. I should make a playlist of everything I've ever heard. Well, everything I like. What's the band that does Pretty Fly for a White Guy? Then there's Chemical Brothers. I mean, I like Enya. Who's the chanting monks? What are they? What's that called? Yeah. Sometimes I listen to stuff without words. I mean, Steve Winwood has a bunch of instrumental. Talking Heads, another band. I mean, I'm either listening to music or podcasts. I'm slowly getting into a small batch of them. Of course, I watch a lot of art videos, interviews with creators, all that sort of thing. I mean, this song playing it's not a song, but it sounds very much like a song I know. I'm trying to think of it too. Because it changes the tempo and it goes out of The Offspring, there you go. Oh, who here has watched Mystery Men? The Ben Stiller movie. I mean, it's the whole cast. Yeah, hang it. Azaria Ningo. Is that her name? If you haven't seen Mystery Men and you like superhero movies, well, this is an off-brand superhero movie. Hilarious. Yeah, great cast. All right, let's see. Ba-doom. Try some other music. Oh, the Mystery Man. I watched that. It was probably the inspiration for my first comic. Not trying. Yeah, it was great. So this song, the title is Beating the Dust. Why? I have no goddamn clue. So yeah, this is a pretty unique way of me starting a page. Partially I'm doing it this way potentially to get it done quicker than I normally would. But I'm very particular about everything. So while I'm fast and loose right now, I'll probably wind up tightening a lot of it up. So mentioned a friend of mine found an issue of Aquaman that he wanted me to sign. If you weren't aware, DC recently put out an omnibus of all of Peter David's work on Aquaman. So he started with a miniseries called Time and Tide. Time and Tide. And then he wrote 49 issues of the series. And all my inks are in that omnibus. So they sent me 3 copies. One is for me. One I sold very cheaply to Mark McKenna because DC didn't give him an issue, even though he did a lot of the covers to issues I worked on. I don't think he did enough. All right, Jay, have a good one. I don't think he did enough interior pages, so they didn't just give him a couple of the omnibuses. I think he said it was like 1,600 interior pages or some crazy amount. It's 8 or 9 pounds altogether. It's a giant monster of a book. Anyway, I sold him one for very cheap because he really should have gotten a copy. Paul says, I like the giant sound effect. Yeah. I love when I get pages with sound effects. Yeah, he did one for this page. And then crack. And he did it by hand, and I really tightened them up. Lots of fun. But yeah, those omnibuses, man. Yeah, I think that, like Marvel, like DC, they churn out these collections and omnibuses and trades and what am I looking at? It's probably definitely the last gift I'm getting in DC. When the Aquaman movie came out and it hit 1 billion, they did contact me and sent me a royalty check. That was nice. It was only a couple of hundred, whatever it was. But you know, so like while I was working on Aquaman, I only signed the contract once, and that was the ink, essentially a year's worth of Aquaman. And I think the contract then stipulated that I wouldn't be getting royalties or something. I forget the exact phrasing, but they sent me a new contract when the movie did really good, so that I would essentially get royalties at that point, which was very cool of them. They didn't have to do that. You know, at the time I was working for them, I might have got one or two royalty checks. I believe, you know, Wizard Magazine said at the time that it was Aquaman was like number 75 of the top 100 books coming out. Which was cool. So it was essentially, it was a popular book. I do know, like, I think a lot of random pages for Marvel, but I think I got a couple of royalty checks. Like I remember specifically, I did some pages from Marvel Comics Presents, and they sent me a royalty check on that. I think it was almost nothing, but I was like to the moon in the happiness. It's like I got a royalty check for doing nothing. Well, for it selling well, which is always fun. So I got a good start on this. It's been going in an hour. I do want to get some dinner going, and I'm going to be watching my brother. I believe it's Brian Polito's channel, because Brian Polito, Jimmy Palmieri, Amanda O'Connell, and Billy Tucci are teaming up to do a Kickstarter. They created 3 all new characters, and I think it's the Deadly Trio, the Deadly Trio. So I'm really curious how well that does, since it's a lot of big crowdfunder guys. But yeah, if you haven't already liked this video, please give it a like. Share it with your friends if you get a chance. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm trying to come around much more often and just work on what I got working on. But thank you all for showing up and chatting. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, keep making comics, keep making art.